Play number 3 continues. Another match in the top 8 of the European Qualifier. We had tons of teams sign up for the European Qualifier for the Nations Cup. Way more than I personally expected. 16 teams in total. And now we whittled the number down to the final 8 where we're gonna play a full round robin, and we're now on play day number 3. So this is going to be super interesting for multiple reasons. Now we have Spain going up against Netherlands, and both of these teams still have a solid chance to make it into the top 4. And the 4 teams that are ending up in the top of the ranking at the end of the full round robin, they will get the ticket to Berlin, the offline event at the 10th and 11th of June. Where we have 4 European teams, 1 team from North America and 1 team from Asia compete. It's going to be awesome. So the whole thing takes place in Berlin, and again, you can combo that off with a city trip if you want to. You can come in to the venue. We're going to play all of this out at the Experian at the Alexanderplatz in Berlin. It's a super central location. We have a link in the description that you can also take a look at if you want to have a bit of an idea of what the venue looks like, if you want to see some of the events that they hosted in the past. It's going to be awesome. If you want to shake hands with players, casters, or just enjoy Heroes of the Storm, international Heroes of the Storm, with other like-minded fans, then you can definitely do that. Entrance is free, no tickets that you have to get. Lots of people have already said that they're coming. We've seen comments on Twitch, comments on YouTube, and yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be fantastic. But okay, so the question is, who makes it, right? We have 3 teams that are definitely clear favorites just because they have a huge pool of players, huge pool of talent in the past. I mean, again, Sweden, Germany, France, you heard me talk about it probably. But we've seen a couple of small upsets, a couple of maps taken from some of those. They haven't lost an actual match yet, but time will tell if it comes to that. But either way, we have 4 slots in total. And who can take them? Blaze, Rega, and Hanzo are currently claimed by Spain. And Spain had an interesting game, especially in their first play day. They were absolutely ruthless. And I want to see if they can go the distance here. Nano is picking his Hanzo. That's something that was denied to them when they played on the second play day against Germany. And the interesting part was honestly that they had multiple maps where it looked like they would walk away with the map win. And they were just not able to break through. But it was close a few times. Now they're going up against the Netherlands, and there's of course another strong team here with players like Fish, with Simply here. I mean, again, a lot of the players from the Netherlands should be familiar if you've been following the European scene a little bit and all of the tournaments that we've been hosting over here. Alexstrasza gets banned, so no dragon transformation is going to happen. Tychus is still up, on the other hand. So, yeah, you could go for Tychus and get Odin. Chromie banned. Chromie, by the way, the ban on Chromie is also a direct response to Nano playing on the other side. He is absolutely known for his Chromie plays and for his Hanzo plays, of course, too. Brightwing is in, and we get Junkrat. Okay, so we have Hogger, which is in and of itself already a little bit surprising. Oftentimes, he is one of the heroes that gets banned out very quickly on maps like Infernal Shrines, like Garden of Terror. He gets added value. Very good for camp clear on the lane, and also, in this case, on the objective. But with Spain, Drakia and Johan, they need a front line. Jojo has already been taken away from them. Garrosh would be open if they want to go down that path. They go for Mal'Ganis, and we get Mephisto. Okay. Mal'Ganis is seeing a lot more play lately. Quite a lot more than I expected. Initially, it was only Lauber that played him. That was like 1 or 2 years ago. Probably like 2 years ago. Lauber was one of the few players that would use Mal'Ganis, but these days he gets picked a bit more often. Not saying that he's mainstream meta, but he has definitely a place in the heart of some players, as you can see. On the right side, we got the Netherlands with the final pick, and it is Sylvanas. So, guys, we're set. Stage is set for game number 1, Infernal Shrines, first map in the best of 5 series, Netherlands against Spain. Spain against Netherlands. On the left, the Spanish team in blue with Drake on Hanzo, Johan on Mal'Ganis. We got Exelom on Rega, Pepinazo on Blaze, and Nano on Mephisto. Over on the right side of the map, it is the Netherlands, the Case Cup, with Fish on Johan, Simply on Hogger, We got No Scope Ninja on Sylvanas, the Meat Bicycle on Brightwing, and Thiago is playing Junkrat. Let's go! Interesting thing about Spain, by the way. The one thing that always surprised me over here, so again, I've been living in Valencia for a while, and you kind of assume that when you're going to a country that there's pretty much one language that is spoken, right? A couple of local dialects, obviously. I mean, the same is true no matter which country you're going to. You will always have some states that have, or cities that have their own dialect. Sounds a bit different, sometimes also like written completely different. That's true for pretty much any country that I know. But when we're talking about the education system and other things, it's normally one language that gets taught, and it's like the official, you know, like Germans, for example. You have multiple dialects, but if you're going to school and you have German class, then you learn the official variation. Spain is very different, so they have multiple things that are spoken over here, and the crazy thing to me is, so for example, people have, like Valencia has their own dialect, Valenciano, then they have Catalan that gets spoken, official Spanish, and the crazy thing to me is that they actually teach different things in different parts of the country when you're going to school. It's insane. It's honestly bonkers. Apparently textbooks are also completely different, so you don't have a unified language that gets taught at school. I mean, you kind of do, but then they also have class and others. It's absolutely bananas. This is one of the things that completely floored me when I heard about it the first time. And I talked to a couple of teachers that I know here, and they are so annoyed by it, you have absolutely no idea. They are like, yeah, this is insane. This shouldn't be a thing. If you come to Spain and you come to Valencia, street signs, they have two different names for every, or not for everything, but for a lot of things. When you're looking at just normal signs on a highway, they will have a city name in different variations, one in Valenciano and one then in typical Spanish. So it's kind of bananas. Different countries, you know, like different small things that are, I don't know, like, yeah, it's just interesting. It's one of the things that I found really weird, and I believe, for me personally, it's honestly a bit of a problem. If you want to have a properly unified country, then stuff like that should at some point, you know, go out the window, and you should just make an agreement or just like box one thing through, and then you can of course still have your local dialects, and there's nothing wrong with that, but there needs to be like something official. That's at least my personal opinion. I think people will probably disagree on that one, but that's always a little bit surprising here. But that being said, back to the game. So far we've only got one kill for the Netherlands. We have at the same time now also with Spain camps taken. The blue team is doing the exact same thing we're seeing here on the right side of the map. Both teams obviously setting their shaman camps up towards the top as they're now going for the first objective down at the bottom of the map. And, well, with that, the opportunity to go for Punisher number 1. Who takes it? Who claims it? Who gets ahead with a Frozen Punisher? Strong one, obviously, so that could help you to even take down the first fort. Oh, Hogger in a bit of trouble, but gets the assist from Brightwing, but that also forced Brightwing down to the bottom, and that allows Blaze to push at the top. A nice isolation against Melganis. Allowed a second kill for the team from the Netherlands, though. Nicely done. And all the way up at the top, they're still pushing through the gate. So it's a bit of an interesting situation that unfolds here right now, because with all the damage that is being done here by Blaze, they might actually walk away with a more advantageous situation, despite the red team likely grabbing Punisher number 1. Probably a little bit offset by the fact that we're talking about a Frozen Punisher here. But this is still going to spell out trouble. I mean, just look at that top lane. That's already 30% of the damage done right here. So, pretty interesting. Another jump, another move, and, well, that is Sylvanas. I actually kind of forgot that she's also part of the lineup. So, obviously, if you have a Frozen Punisher and Sylvanas, then you're more or less guaranteed that you're going to get good damage. And that's exactly what they're looking for here. Blaze is still in the middle, so it's a 4 versus 4 that gets played out down to the bottom of the map. Punisher is nearly defeated though, and as the dust settles, it looks like the two teams are walking away with a very similar situation here. So yeah, there's that. And with very similar situation, I mean, structural damage, yeah, this is 50%, a little bit less up here at the top. Not quite as much, but it's still a pretty decent spot for Spain to be in, given the circumstances. They're of course still trailing in experience. They lost 2 heroes, haven't killed a single one just yet. But as the game continues, we're also very likely gonna get more aggression from Mal'Ganis in particular. And they go for Hogger and lock in first blood for themselves. Nicely done, well played. They're going for the top fort. In the meantime, the red team is making the same play at the bottom of the map. And that is actually going to benefit Spain a bit, because their own fort had a lot less hit points. Now, the Netherlands, they make up for it by stealing the camp as well. But it's very interesting. So, interesting plays are being made from both sides now, as everybody is aiming for an early level 10. And as explained previously, both of these teams still have a fairly good chance to make it into the top 4 and get a ticket to Berlin. Particularly, the team in red was able to take a map of Sweden, which is of course quite impressive. So they took a map of one of the favorites in this Nations Cup qualifier. Level 10 is in for them. That gives us also the shockwave after the Blessed Shield, so even more CC being stacked up by the red team now. And with Mal'Ganis at the top, Blaze at the bottom, everybody is just waiting for heroics to come through. We now have the Dark Conversion and the Durance of Hate for Mal'Ganis and Mephisto. Yeah, they're already trying to go for another setup, maybe. Durance of Fate is in. Nicely done. The arrow, damn, they're unleashing everything on Sylvanas. Absolutely everything. And that's a kill. Kill number 2 for them. Sylvanas is gone. And that was brutal. But it shows what you can do with this lineup. You come in with Mal'Ganis, you put him to sleep, and then Mephisto takes aim. Hanzo can pretty much not miss that arrow. That's a lot of CC that you can stack on a single target, and then you just blow it to pieces, which is exactly what they did here. Super interesting. But yeah, let's see. Up at the top, what do we get here? Wall about to be destroyed. As soon as they do that, they have a bit of added vision that they can use to control this further. Another quick move for the fish, and yeah, they can't kill him. But they at least forced them back a little bit and threatened to do more damage to the structures here. Now the next shrine is activating, and this time it's the top lane, so those shaman camps are not going to be as important anymore for the objective at hand. The Dirty Trickster for Junkrat on level 7, by the way. And our bot lane battle continues. It's a bit of a better position, generally speaking, for Hogger. I mean, he's going to move towards the top now too, but as long as they still hold on to their fort at the bottom of the map, that's at least something that they can rely upon in regards to the fountain. But it's party time. Early level 13 would be nice, but here comes Mal'Ganis again, trying for the sleeper setup. He gets it. There's the arrow. Where's the next stun? Durance of Hate! And Sylvana, she doesn't like that at all. She's like, wait a second, I'm having a deja vu over here. Welcome to the Matrix, baby. Johanna trying to go for a counter kill, and they get it! They take Mal'Ganis down. Nice! Job well done. Spain losing one of their heroes. They still take the lead on the objective up at the top, as Hanzo is getting more and more minion stacks for the team. But that was very important. That was a really good move by the Netherlands to bring this one back. Spain, of course, with the initial kill, and it seems that the red team just decided they're going to let this one slide. They're making no moves whatsoever to move towards the top side, which I honestly find a little bit surprising. I mean, they used a lot of cooldowns. They were already a bit behind. Their own camp was destroyed. They don't have a fountain at the top, so there's an advantage for Spain, given that they haven't lost their top fort yet. So the red team just decides to let this one go, get a little more value somewhere else on the map. They claim the camps down here at the bottom. They use another one with Hogger. But while all of this happens, we already see damage up at the first tower, dished out by Spain's mercenary camp. So that's a little bit annoying. Hanzo's moving in with the Mortar Punisher. Blaze reacts to the play made by the Netherlands down at the bottom of the map. And the rest of the team is apparently trying to make a play now. Mephisto isn't here either, so this is currently a 3 versus 5 essentially. You might be able to break through that wall, but that's all that you can do, and they have to be careful that they're not losing heroes as well. Once again, Durance of Hate, the arrow, and Hogger just doesn't care. Hogger pokes away from it. They forced it a little bit too much here. Nano with his Mephisto. It's actually kind of wild to me. I mean, he is the mage player for them, so him on Mephisto, he made some nice moves already, but it's still weird to me to not see him on Hanzo. The swap obviously making perfect sense. Haven't really talked about it until now, but it's always a little bit strange when Nano doesn't play Hanzo. It's just like the way that I personally perceive him. It's like Bishops. It's like one of those guys, when he picks Hanzo, you know you're in trouble. But his Mephisto is obviously doing work in this game. And putting some numbers also to it. We now have 24,000 for Hanzo. We have 18,000 for Mephisto. We have 25,000 for Junkrat for the damage dealers in this one. More damage done. Another quick play for the mid lane. Both of the teams at level 15. But the Netherlands are still edging out some experience advantages that they are attempting to build on. So they're getting closer and closer now to level 16 with a bit of a gap, which should easily allow them to make some nice plays over here. So let's see what they can do with all of this. Already getting into position here again in the middle. I mean, it's a lot of poking and prodding, and the teams are trying to just set up ganks, this time against Hogger, but yeah, Simply was ready. Communication from the Netherlands seems to be really on point. Normally they call out these rotations as quickly as they detect them, so no issues for Hogger at all. Fish at the front, zoning a bit, threatening the Blessed Shield. Wasn't thrown out there since there was no follow-up anywhere near to where Johanna was presently, but yeah. 3 kills to 3. And everybody's playing this a little bit slow and passive. Nobody wants to risk too much. So we have seen forts fall on each side, but nobody's making any big commitments just yet. The arrow again not hitting. Second one in a row that now misses. Hugoya was jumping out already early on, so no problem for him. Once again, another move made here. Maybe Johan can now set this up for them again. But with Hogger pushing this... Again, their side lane pressure is just better. They still have a big lead, and unless we're now seeing some kills for Spain, then the Spanish team has to be super careful that they're not falling too far behind. You don't want to end up with level 20 completely trailing. But they're coming in, they get the kill, and they take Sylvanas down again. The problem is that the Ancestral of Rhaegar is a little bit too late, and that means that Hanzo is dead too. So 4 versus 4, with Hogger barely able to make it out of the fight before he himself gets killed. Taps the fountain too. Oh, but Junkrat gets wrecked by Mephisto. Nano, he is one of the strongest players for Spain for sure, and he is once again helping them to pull ahead here. Good timing for a follow-up kill, just as the shrine is about to activate. Exactly what they needed to do, so job well done by him. And now an opportunity to get a Punisher. Nicely done. Nano with a good move. Blaze needs to be a bit carefully in the middle so that he doesn't get caught. Not really threatened yet. 5 kills to 4. And with the camps claimed, the defense at the top in place, thanks to Blaze. They're now going for the Arcane Punisher, which honestly, given the state of the game, could give them another fort. Depending a little bit on what happens at the top lane between Blaze and Hogger. If Blaze can move down, play it out with the rest of the team. But this one is, of course, a sure victory. Punisher number 3 in the hands of Spain. And each team in their quest to get the lead in this series. Now trying to pull off a potential victory and pull ahead a little bit. Yeah, Blaze moving in from the side. He's looking for that angle that would allow him to get that flank, but already he's been found out. Since everybody is moving away from the bottom fort, it's an easy win though. The fort goes down, so the advantage for Spain is at this point quite solid. Sidewall gets opened up, so now they have perfect vision, can follow up on the Punisher jump whenever it gets blocked. Hasn't happened yet. Finally it's going on. One tower is already down though, and I think that Spain is going to be happy to just destroy the wall and then back off. Maybe even wait for another proc on the jump. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, they have a camp and they also still have a minion wave. If they can get a kill here, that would be fantastic. They nearly got one on Hogger. Not quite happening. Riptide is out again. Another stun. Hogger once more in trouble, but he turns it around against them. And now it's the front line that is in real danger of dying. Blaze in particular was low. So was Mal'Ganis. Brightwing is the one to fall though. Bright Wing gone, and the keep is at 50% HP. Johan with Mal'Ganis gets finally murdered as he overstays his welcome a little bit. Junkrat and Hogger are both getting killed too. It is Mephisto that just murders them where they stand, and it results in Spain claiming the fort and the keep at the bot lane. They need to send somebody in the middle to make sure that they're not losing their own structures, but this was just a huge win for them. Honestly, they're not even doing that. They're just instead going for the fort itself. They have level 20 already, but this is looking extremely strong now. Well done. It could have been worse. If Mal'Ganis' ult wasn't interrupted in that fight, this could have gotten worse for the Netherlands. But it's already bad enough as is. Of course, they're going to claim their own level 20 talent in just a moment. But at this point, it is the Spanish Armada that is on their way to a potential victory again. All the forts destroyed, one keep taken down, more poke happening. It's a 4 versus 3. They're getting a little bit of free damage in. It's not a lot, but every single bit matters at the end of the day. 48,000 damage for Nano, 50,000 for Junkrat. Mal'Ganis is back to business and is now moving in too. And let's see if they can maintain the control that they established up to now. Netherlands, they have different plans. They want to bring this one back. They want to take some of the structures down. They got level 20. Attack against Jojo. Arrow, triple hit. Much better than what happened previously here from Dracula. Good follow-up damage too. Forces the opponent back once again. Fish gets saved by Junkrat, but the red team is on the run now. They were in real trouble here. And I talked about this a bit earlier. It's really tricky right now for the Netherlands to control Johan. They were able to take him down in the last engagement because of the moves made to interrupt his ult. But generally, he is doing a lot of work, very mobile in these fights, and making it incredibly difficult for the Netherlands to get a good hold on him and take him down. So currently what we're having from him is Vanquish the Weak on level 20, and we got the Farseer's Blessing now as well. Another camp is taken. Puts pressure onto the bot lane. Definitely something that the red team is not going to enjoy. But he's face checking the bush. Sees it coming. Alright. Moves back out. And all of a sudden it backfires. It backfires against the Netherlands. This is a 3 versus 5. Now Blaze is there making it a 4 versus 5. But Hanzo was missing the entire time. Arrow comes in. Hits Hogger. And this entire trap setup that we saw is just not working out for them. Beautiful bunker also interrupting, or at least negating the stun from Hogger. They take down Jojo and they kill Brightwing. Holy hell! Mal'Ganis with a face check and Johan reacting immediately upon it. And even though it's a 5 versus 3, it backfires heavily against the Netherlands. They are losing ground. They're about to lose the top keep if the catapults have anything to say about it. Mid lane is pushing, bot lane is pushing, the core is losing hit points already. It's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. Hogger down, Junkrat dead, Sylvanas about to fall, and that is a lead for Spain. The Spanish Armada is sailing to victory in game number 1 of the best of 5 series here on the 3rd playday of the European Qualifier. Nicely done. GG. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Battlefield of Eternity, map number 2. The Spanish team has taken the lead in the best of 5 series here on the 3rd playday. The Netherlands with some really nice showings, especially in the early game. They had some very good moves, but boy oh boy did Spain gain momentum there towards the end. Whew. So yeah, they crushed it. They absolutely did. And honestly, the end of the game was pretty much initiated by the team from the Netherlands starting up a trap that backfired heavily. They were going for the full bush party, trying to wait for someone to move in and blow him to pieces, Kingdom Come, and then Mal'Ganis just turned it on them super easily. The team fought a 5 versus 3 for a time, and eventually was able to rotate Hanzo and Blaze in, and then, yeah, Netherlands just fell apart there. Now, the ban on Chromie still is a thing, meaning that Nano is not going to get to play him here. But now Sergeant Hammer is being banned as well. Okay, nicely done. Alright, so Spain versus Netherlands. Let's see what Spain can do and if Netherlands can bring it back. As I mentioned before, they took a map against Sweden. And that is in and of itself big. So if you take a map of the top 3, that's always awesome. And there is obviously always the threat that somebody within the top favorites is maybe taking some of these games a little bit too lightly and doesn't give it their all, but then you get punished and you lose a map, and at the end of the day, nobody cares why you won. It only matters that you won and that you got that additional point where your opponents, your direct competitors, might not succeed. Valla is banned. Battlefield, of course, a lot about, hey, how do we damage the Immortal? Could definitely still see a Lunara over here. Greyman could be taken. So plenty of choices still up. Li Ming, another really good hero to take. Mindtalk now going to try and get those combos off. And Mindtalk also leans a little bit towards a very aggressive build with Li Ming and even Glass Cannon pick on level 13, depending on the situation and what kind of setup they're running. Something to keep in mind as we're heading into the game. But with our first double pick for the Spanish Armada, it's Sonia and Lucio. Alright. Yeah, Lucio speed them up a little bit. Dance around the opponent. Sonia for the top lane. We've seen some wild picks lately here. What really is nice to me is that at least the Swedish team has started to pick up Zarya and Garrosh a bit more often, which I kind of find funny. Could see for the Netherlands also, of course, a variant approach. If you're already playing with Li Ming for immortal damage and a continuous poke, you could technically try and come through with some variant plays. Get the taunt in, set Li Ming up properly, do some work with that. With Anduin, another hero that we could see here. Diablo, of course, can go for a light bomb engage with him. Murden still up too. So, especially at the front line, there's a lot of very, very good choices for both of the teams. In this case, they're getting rid of Garrosh first. Spain not risking anything there. A lot of the pick suggestions are also true for Spain. So, yeah, Spain could also come in. Pick Murden, for example. Do his thing there. But the last ban for game number 2. And again, don't forget that heroes that have been played already cannot be played again. So every single hero that has been played in one of the previous maps cannot be played again in the same series. Diablo gets banned. The OG bully is removed. He needed a chat skin. I can totally see that Diablo just pushed people into lockers at some point. It's actually a crying shame that we didn't have any artists, you know, like when if heroes would have gotten like bigger and bigger and bigger, I'm sure eventually we would have had some Heroes of the Storm comics, and I would have loved to see something along the lines of like Heroes of the Storm High School. That would have been amazing, you know, all of the heroes just when they were like 14, 15, 16, and then Diablo, the OG bully that pushes people into lockers. That would be great. Johan with Mirrodin. Here's Greyman also, as expected, for damage on the Immortal. And we get finally Fish on Uther. Uther has been banned against him so many times now in this Nations Cup qualifier. It's actually crazy, but here he gets his main tank. So we get Uther Anduin as a combo, Uther doubling as a main tank, Carrigan taken by them as well. Lots of stuns, lots of aggression, and it gets countered by Nano with Medivh. Battlefield of Eternity, second map, Spain against the Netherlands. Let's go. Game number 2, we are on Battlefield of Eternity. Spain has taken the lead. The Netherlands trying to bring this back, of course. On the left side, we have Drachia on Greymane. Great damage on the Immortal. We get Johan on Mirrodin, Pepinazo on Sonia, Exelom on Lucio, and Nano. A little bit of a counter to what Netherlands are currently attempting to pull off here, as he goes for Medivh. Simply, for the KS Cup, with Li Ming, we got Fish on Uther, his Uther main tank, with Anduin being the main support, played by Meat Bicycle, Mindtalk on Carrigan, and No Scope Ninja is playing Urel. So you might have already noticed that we had a bit of a swap happening over here. We have Mindtalk not on Li Ming, therefore I guess we're safe from any glass cannon shenanigans, at least for now. Technically, I suppose, with a pseudo double support, you could still try and go for that. But the main aggression that you're normally getting is from Mindhawk himself, and he loves his Karrigan plays. Baseline for Medivh, we're going to keep an eye on that, as usual. We have our normal setup here, a 1 versus 1 up at the top lane, 4 versus 4 down at the bottom of the map, as the teams are trying to make their plays here. Yeah, and it's party time! It's pretty important for the Netherlands to win this one. Obviously, it's not impossible to go for 3 map wins in a row if you are 0-2, but reverse sweeps are quite rare for a reason. So you want to win this one. If you want to start a comeback, then this would probably be the best way to initiate it. If Spain is able to get a 2-0 lead, and it's going to be a very, very tough battle for the Netherlands to bring this one back. And as I said, it's not only about the match win. Obviously, since these two are direct competitors in their ambition to go to Berlin, it's important that you win the match. But if you at least make it a close one, then even a loss can be compensated for. We're still very, very early in the season. The round robin is going to run over 7 play days, and we are only on play day number 3. So there's still plenty of matches to be played where you can compensate for a few mistakes that you might make along the way. But either way, top side, the 1 versus 1. Choo-choo! We get the pain train! The Super Saiyan over here. Sonya doing her thing. 4-man down at the bottom of the map is allowing good old Medivh to stack more and more. So he's sitting at 16 stacks right now. Yeah, nearly halfway done. Nearly halfway done with his quest. Uther is, of course, stacking as well. But Urel is losing a little bit of ground up there at the top, doesn't she? Now, of course, since the objective is going to be announced in another 5 seconds, the teams are now making moves for their Shaman camp, so that they can start things off there with the first Immortal. Focus the opponent's attention a bit more towards the lane as the mercenary camps are moving in and threatening structures on the objective, but yep. Triumvirate on level 4 and the Hand of Freedom! That makes Urel either Scottish or American, one of the two. So, yeah. Urel, the Space Goat. Very, very annoying to deal with at the side there too. So yeah, they have a really terrifying lineup. If they jump in with everything they have, whew, they can really drive the train there. But okay, we have now first Immortal up, and Greyman is already on it. Greyman is sitting right at the Immortal, is like, I got this, boys. Create some space. I'm gonna play this out. They're actually creating a lot of space for him. So yeah, he already chunked it down a bit, but Uther eventually came over. Now that we have time for some portals, we could see him getting attacked. Stun into the Immortal stun, attempted by Fish. He just missed out of it, but there's the Stormbolt. Anduin pulling the target out of harm's way, but this opens up another opportunity for the team in blue to get more damage in, which is exactly what they're currently trying to pull off here. So, yeah, once again, halftime show, victory for Spain. They're not out of the woods just yet with this one. Again, collapsing onto the Immortal. And the Netherlands, they realize that this is not something that they're going to be able to win at pace if they're just racing for it, so they have to get some kills. Johan gets saved by Medivh, who's at 27 stacks now, but the red team still has to do a lot of damage if they want to reverse the situation. Not gonna be easy for them at all. And here come the hits, and yeah, this is of course gonna be a first Immortal, a first objective for the Spanish team. They're trying to even get a kill. Urel gets followed. I don't think that they can get a kill. Stormbolt misses, okay, if that would have hit, maybe. But yeah, they're just forcing some of the resources to move topside and help her out, but the rest of the team is already getting in position at the bottom of the map, since the objective, the Immortal, is not going to move in over here. Level 7 is in the hands of Spain. It's a tiny advantage. Again, the gap is what? 10 seconds, if so. So the Netherlands, they have their own level 7 in time for the defense, which allows them to go for Calamity. Portal plays, it's just so annoying. Portal in, portal out, threatening the backline a little bit, forcing them back, and also forcing them away from the Immortal so that the objective can do more damage to the structures. The entire wall is destroyed, and now it's another play made for that bottom fort. And they're not looking too bad here. Don't think they can destroy the entire thing, Maybe if they force it and push them back a bit, they have a chance there. But either way, it's super low. So this is a very, very good first move by Spain in this second game of the series. We have up at the top, still Sonia doing a very good job against Urel. But down at the bottom of the map, this is where things are getting a bit nasty for the Netherlands. Carrigan eats the Stormbolt, Mind Talk, and the portal puts him in immediate trouble, and she has no chance. Carrigan is gone. That's a kill. First blood for Spain. They get Anduin, the quest completed for Nano. Lots of bad news for the Netherlands, but they might at least get... No, they don't even get the kill on Muradin. Oh boy, they lost the fort, they lost 2 heroes, and Medivh finished his stacks. Really bad news for them. That was more than a little bit unfortunate. So yes, things are looking good for Spain. It's not a massive lead, but again, you take a fort down, catapults start spawning, you have a passive experience increase over time, and your opponent is already trailing in XP, which means you have an earlier level 10, always assuming that you're not just inting and all of a sudden start losing heroes for no reason whatsoever. Camp is still being fought over, but now the Immortal is spawning, and with that lead in experience, halftime show victory could definitely be in the cards for Spain. Gonna be looking for it. And Nano in particular can really start to ramp up the damage too with that cooldown reduction. So Wrath of the Berserker, Leyline, and they are threatening the camp. They're saying like, might not go for the halftime show, but you know what? Juicy, juicy camp, and it's free because you can't fight us. Apparently the Netherlands disagree, at least for a moment, and thought, okay, we can posture, but yeah, not happening. So the camp gets stolen. That's super annoying now. And it leads also to an immediate attack now on the Immortal, as you would have already expected. So yep, here we are. Halftime show victory is inevitable for Spain as they are taking another lead. But can the Netherlands turn this around? This is really the moment where they have to make a bit of a play. If you don't go for the fight, if you can't win the Immortal, at least try and get some counter damage in. Depends a lot on how Mindtag is going to play this now, whether or not he can come in and get some good stuns out. And Muradin is vulnerable. Muradin has not gone for Avatar, so keep that in mind. It's all about the playmaker here. And that can, of course, lead to isolation kills for Spain. But it also means that Johan, if caught on the wrong foot, can be blown to pieces. Yeah, and Muradin is already realizing that he is pretty much getting sandwiched by multiple heroes here. Fish was looking for a stun, a lot of CC definitely angling in. But as the poke continues and the top lane pressure is also there, things are getting very dangerous for the Netherlands. It's a high pressure situation for them. Good shield, light bomb, Leyline to counter as much as they can here. And Carrigan might be in a bit of trouble, but not enough to take her down. Sonia still with a bit of potential spin to win here, and they're turning it on Liming, who gets saved by Anduin. What a save! Carrigan dies to Nano on the other hand, and Muradin again jumping out of the way. 3 kills to 0. 20,000 damage for Medivh, 20,000 damage for Sonia. Liming is sitting at roughly 20k herself, but it's a 5 versus 4 that they're now playing here. They're trying to use the Immortal to their advantage, but of course it's getting real tricky for the red team as this continues. They lose the Immortal, it's a decent shield, and now the chase is on as they're trying for Uther. Fish gets out. Obviously having 2 tanks is really helpful now, but Muradin, I said it before, I say it again, he went for a playmaker, and it is still a shitty talent. So no Avatar, and he gets crushed because of it. Don't get me wrong, we've seen good playmaker moves. Sometimes Haymaker can be insanely fun. If you can isolate a target, that's awesome. Going up against the double support, you remove a target or one of the heroes from the equation, you get a quick kill, it's great. You can make fantastic plays, and if it works out, it looks awesome. It absolutely looks awesome. But at the same time, it makes you very vulnerable as a frontliner, and without Avatar, they got an easy kill here. The damage is still being done. Not only is Mindtalk in real trouble, but also the fort at the top got destroyed, and the Immortal is still gonna break through the wall here. So one tower is already down. They're trying again for a bit of extra damage. Leyline is coming through, buying the Immortal even more time. And it's nearly the entire top wall that has now gotten destroyed. 13. Talent advantage, of course, for them too. They got the double clap for Muradin on level 4 to make up a bit for the lack of Haymaker of Avatar. And the healing static as his level 13 talent. But this is pretty much where we are right now. So, action and aggression all over the place, with Spain definitely leading the charge here. They have done quite a bit better than the team from the Netherlands up to this point. But can they go the distance? Can they take this 2-0? That is the bigger question for now. I mean, they're trying. Now the Stormbolt hits home. So far, so good. Pushing through the bot lane a little bit, and at the same time, Sonya is positioning herself at the top, trying to make sure that with a two-pronged attack, they're going to get some structural damage no matter what happens. Sonya has to go up against Urel, so she's going up against Urel at this point, and they're trying to get the kill on her. Ult is used immediately. Urel has her ult out. It allows for the tower topside to get destroyed. And there's still a camp at the bottom of the map and the catapult. So once the minion wave is gone, this is going to take structures down, which is why now Li Ming has moved in and is attempting to deal with it. But that is applying more pressure at the top. So, yep, they're everywhere. 3 kills to 1. Kerrigan looking for good engages and can't really find them just yet. It's a level until 16. This is going to be a big Immortal for the Netherlands. They have to try and fight here, as long as Spain doesn't have a level 16 talent advantage over them. So this is the moment. Get your camp, make a move. You've lost forts. The opponent didn't, and they let this happen. They let the halftime show victory for Spain happen. I don't like it. The gap is huge. There's a 1.5 level gap between the two teams, and once that Spain has level 16, you're gonna be in trouble. You're really gonna be in trouble. Questionable choices. Yeah, Haymaker gets used, Divine Shield to counter it immediately, but that takes a lot of the potential aggression away from Kerrigan, who's also used her Ultralist. That's a lot of ults that were just used. A lot of big cooldown ults from the Netherlands. Can they get a kill? They need to try. Kerrigan, under pressure, portals set up, Light Bomb, Chrysalis. Everything is being used here as Kerrigan is again down. She's dead. And Urel follows. 2 heroes down. They go for Uther. They go for Anduin. Both of the supports are gone. And now the quick move over to the keep and Li Ming. Oh, no! He died! Li Ming with a combo, and then it is the keep that destroys Medivh. They want to go for the keep, and for good reason, but losing Medivh here was definitely more than a little bit annoying. Li Ming, of course, looking for resets. Yeah, it's only Simply DK that's still trying to make a play. The keep will fall, and then they can focus again on the Immortal itself, which is what they're going to do here. Keep gone, top side, they have a fort to defend, or this might fall too. And Greymane, he rotated back towards the middle, as they're now going for the objective. Yep, it's a party. It's for sure a party, especially now that we have the Netherlands back to business, trying to defend as best they can, trying to get some kills here too, and of course trying to get some resets. Li Ming, she facilitated the death of Medivh, even though she also had to use the keep in the process. No problem with that, but now they're going to try and get a little bit more here. Sonya's already a bit low, Medivh obviously back, Urel isn't here yet, and Kerrigan, the ley line. They can coordinate this. The Immortal is already won, and this is a disaster. Kerrigan is dead. Divine Shield had to be used to save Anduin, at least for now. They're chasing all over the place right now. Li Ming in particular at the top is being chased down by Lucio. That's kill number 2. They're going for Urel, and she hops straight into the arms of Muradin and a Stormbolt, which seals the deal for the Space Goat. And now it's time for the core to fall. Not only is the boss going to make it in, or the Immortal going to make it in through the top lane, but also they go for the core right away after that kill chain. 2 supports is all that's left for the Netherlands, and Spain, they just show no mercy. These guys, they're on an absolute tear right now in this series, and they take the core down, or at least they should. Kerrigan is trying to have a word with them before that happens, but now that the Immortal is moving in, the outcome is inevitable. It's a little bit like Thanos. It's a 2-0 lead for Spain as they claim victory on BOE. Dragonshire, game number 3, the Spanish Armada, mercilessly ruling the seas and sailing to victory. A 2-0 lead, and now it's match point. The Netherlands, they are struggling a little bit here, more than I expected. I honestly thought that in game number 2 we would have them come back with a vengeance, but so far that hasn't really happened. So yeah, Spain is going ham. I honestly don't know if there's any kind of food that the Netherlands are really famous for. I mean, there's obviously always the cheese meme, but besides that, when it comes to actually like food and not just an ingredient, I don't know if they're famous for anything, because normally when we're talking Nations Cup, we have the Germans, the sausages, or the sauerkrauts. Then on the other side, we have Spain with the paellas and the bocadillos. But with the Netherlands, I honestly don't really know. So whatever it is that drives them, they should probably consume some of it and then just go for it. So, yeah. Either way, they gotta change something. Hammer is banned. Chromie is banned again. No Chromie for Nano. And, well, that gives us Maiev. Okay, so, I like it. Mindtalk played as Kerrigan on the last map, and let's be honest, Spain dealt very well with it. Normally Mindhawk's Kerrigan, it's a key hero for him, and he had so many games in the past where he was absolutely crushing it, especially if his two supports that support him. Divine Shield was there too, but Spain dealt with it extremely well. So obviously these guys know each other, right? They've played multiple times against each other in the past in different setups, not here in the Nations Cup but in other tournaments. And Mindtalk just was shut down. Now he comes in with Maiev, and he's going to try and have more of an impact here. Dragonshire is obviously another big map where first and foremost we have now the Haga banned out, so that you have no global plays being executed by him. Alexstrasza for the Netherlands now. And we get Imperius. Looking like it's not going to be a main tank Imperius, which is still technically possible, but rare these days. So yeah, let's see how this is gonna unfold. Also, again, if you're watching this on YouTube, a quick shout out again to everybody that has already supported the tournament and our attempts to create more offline tournaments in the future. But if you want to chip in and you want to help out, then make sure that you're going to check out the crowdfunding that is linked in the video description as well. We have hosted events in Miami last year. We now host this one in Berlin, and it's pretty costly to get international Heroes of the Storm together. I mean, all the players, they get their flights paid, they get the accommodation paid, and then you have to fly people in from from Asia, and obviously it all adds up. So if you're interested in us doing more of these things in the future and upping the production value and everything as well, then check out the crowdfunding, and any kind of support would really be appreciated to make this work more and more in the future. But, okay, we got Dragonshire now with the next 2 picks. So, Drag here, make the move. They denied Cho'Gall. I mean, they saw that Alexstrasza pick and they were like, better safe than sorry. Let's not risk anything here. Let's think about the heroes that could really be a bit of a problem for us. They themselves with Nazeebo. Yeah, Nano and Nazeebo, I like it. And we're Falstad, so they have some global pressure. Important for Dragonshire. First of all, with Gust, you have a very good disengage. You can also try and force a fight, of course, but as a disengage tool, it's fantastic. On top of that, you have a hero that is very mobile on the map itself, and therefore can try and play that ring around the rosy game that allows you to deny the opponent the objective, because you just fly over and take one of the temples. Tyrael and Zagara. Yeah, they see that Nazeebo and they're like, yeah, late game is not for us. So we have our own insects over here. But, good stuff. Final pick. Nazeebo, I like that he's played more in this Nations Cup. He's not being played all the time, but I think every single playday so far we've seen him once, and I really like that. Now the last pick is Thrall, and well, this is match point number 1 for Spain. Can the Spanish team lock in a 3-0 victory, which would mean a lot to them, giving the standings and giving their ambitions to end up in the top 4 to get a ticket to the offline event in Berlin? Can they pull it off? Let's find out together. Game number 3, Drakia plays Falstad for the Spanish team. Exilom on Malfurion. We have Pepinazo on Thrall, Nano on Nazeebo, and Johan on Garrosh. On the right side of the map, the Netherlands with Simply on Imperius, Fish on Tyrael is the main tank. Mindtalk, again, we talked about him in the draft. He plays Maiev. The Mead Bicycle on Alexstrasza, and the No Scope Ninja with Zagara. Okay, Nazeebo also Toad build. Very good to take structures down, especially once that Violent Infection is kicking in. But yeah, it's party time. I'm definitely here for it. Late game Nazeebo is a lot of fun to watch, so we definitely have to check that out. But cannot wait to see what we're gonna get here. Well, apparently we're getting an early kill. Damn, son. Tyrael got murdered. No chance whatsoever. Flipped into the root of Malfurion as Exilom was laying down the lawn. And that spelled out the end of Tyrael. So, first blood for Spain. A job well done by the Spanish team. Very good opening into this one. Whereas at the top they were trying to go for a follow-up kill. Now they couldn't get that, but yeah, they're still getting close on all of this. Gotta give that team some credit. They're doing a fantastic job to coordinate in the early game and put pressure onto the Netherlands. You don't want the other team to get into a good rhythm. You want to deny them that as much as you can and just maintain the momentum yourself. And yeah, Spain is a bit in the driver's seat here. They carry a lot of momentum that they got from game 1 and 2 over into the third one. Started things off with first blood and are now maybe a step ahead. Zagara, of course, she's going to try and pressure as much as possible. Nano, he wants the late game. And I told the story before, but every single time that I see a Nazeebo on this map, I'm getting reminded of some NA HGC plays where I got absolutely tilted. So I still remember this. So back in the day, the way that it happened is that Tim and I, we would broadcast the European matches in the morning, and then after us, North America would start their broadcast. Get wrecked by the spider, baby. I mean, they killed Zagara, but they gave up the Dragon Knight. It's an early Dragon Knight, so as long as they deal with it properly, it's going to be fine. But still, a bit annoying. So, yeah, so normally, again, we would drive home after our own European broadcast was over. But sometimes Tim couldn't make it, then I would cast with one of the other guys, and I would stay, watch the North American broadcast, and then you go back home later with them, car sharing. And I still remember watching one game played on the NA HGC where they played on Dragonshire, and one team, they played Nazeebo. And they were taking a beating the entire game, roughly the same amount of beating that Alexstrasza just took. They got absolutely murdered. So they got killed the entire game. They lost structure after structure. They played passive, they played defensive, and they played, I think it was until the 20-minute mark, 22 minutes in. And they just, their only goal, you could clearly tell from the get-go, was get Nazeebo to level 20 and get him stacked for Violent Infection and start a comeback. So they did this for more than 20 minutes, for the entire game. And they really got beaten to a pulp. They lost hero after hero, structure after structure. The opponent was pushing, but they defended. They really tried to just like hold on. And then, I remember it so vividly. So they played from the right to the left. At the bottom, this was all destroyed. Nazeebo gets level 20 here, is all alone on the bot lane. They have zero vision of the opponent's team. And Nazeebo hits level 20, has his stacks, locks in the Violent Infection, and they played for this moment, for an eternity. What does he do? Without vision of the opponent teams, he runs here, gets flanked from here, instantly dies, which was his first death, and then the opponent continues to drop the keep, goes for the core and ends the game. I was screaming at the TV watching it. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you inting like the last turn on God's Earth after you just accomplished what you fought for nearly half an hour? How can you just int like that? Oh, it was rage-inducing, I'm telling you. So every time I see a Nazeebo on this map, it reminds me of this a little bit. I don't think we're going to see the same thing here. Netherlands, obviously, they also will try to accelerate the game a little bit and not let Nazeebo get into the late game. They got their first blood just now against Garrosh as they lock the kill in. We still have Spain heavily ahead on the kill count. Experience is roughly the same. Them sacrificing the first objective earlier for the Zagara kill was obviously a bit interesting, but overall, they are still the ones who make the main moves. And Drak here, alright, yeah, he is able to move out now. Okay, so up at the top, the kill on Imperius is now happening. So they ganked up on him, but they still have to defend down at the bottom of the map. And Nazeebo is doing what he can, not only to stack his own level 1, but also his baseline. And he's getting some real solid stacks in on both now in these little skirmishes here. Rotation from our boy. Stun, root. And thankfully for Mind Talk, there was still a minion that was soaking some of the shots from the tower, or he would have been dropped in this encounter. 100%. They also have to take care of those creep tumors a little bit, which is what they're currently trying to do. They've definitely taken a lot of damage there earlier. Well, not damage, sorry. They have taken a bit of a step back on this one simply because they had no opportunity to properly deal with it. Now, Maiev still gets killed, and in the middle, as they're trying for Dragonite, they gotta retreat again towards the top, move in with maybe Thrall just to reclaim this one since, yeah, Imperius took over, denied it. Nice zombie wall, and really good ult too, but unfortunately for them, not good enough to get them a kill on one of the heroes, but they did some decent damage on this. Falstad is flying towards the top, helping out Thrall, and Garrosh is now in the middle of the map and is therefore starting to make a play for the Dragonite, which they're getting. Simply outplays himself! No! He misses the ult! And then to add insult to injury, he himself gets murdered by the opponent's team as Falstad uses the gas to push him into a corner, and that just spells out the end of the hero. Yeah, that was a little bit unlucky there for them. Definitely not really the best look. Now that we are down at the bottom of the map with the Dragonite push, we have 6 kills to 1 overall. Both teams with level 10 abilities, 95 stacks for Nazeebo, so yes, he is indeed doing well. And they are, of course, attempting to take a couple of the structures out as they're already coming in for the fort. Top side, they've applied some pressure as well. Netherlands, they're really struggling here. This series, I want to say that their second game might have been their best one, but at this point, they're in real trouble. Spain is doing to them exactly what they did to Ukraine on the first play day. They are crushing it. They're coming in with kill after kill, building up the momentum, and never really letting go. And Nano, of course, as one of the key players of the blue team, is still stacking for late game. So it's not like there's an insane amount of scaling happening for the red team that will make them the dominant force in the later stages. Instead, it could very well be the opposite. Nice move by Nano, but he gets immediately attacked as he's trying to make the play with his ult. The counter from Zagara, but more does not connect. Still forced them back a bit, and that buys time for the top side to take another fort down. So, to sum it up, 2 forts are gone on the red team side. We have, in addition to that, 6 kills to 2, a lead in experience for Spain, and 104 stacks for Nazeebo already. His level 1 is nearly completed. It's not going to take him too much longer. The Toad build continues. And while this might not be the perfect build for team fights, it still can do a solid amount of damage. And the more important part is it is ripping structures to shreds. So if you get Violent Infection and a full Toad build with him, all you got to do is get him on a fort, on a keep, or the core, and he is going to murder them. Johan, focus, targeted, might fall here. Sanctification used on the red team side, and that helps them to go for Garrosh and get the kill. Netherlands, finally with a bit of a sign of life here. They take the camp, they take the kill. They want another one. They move in for Exelom. And he is able to escape. Mindtalk dies. Nazeebo again. He gets disc, but he still got the kill. And now they're trying to turn it on Simply, who instantly uses the ult against Fallstyle. But Imperius is still finding himself in real danger of dying. The Maw again missing. And they are forced back as we speak. Zagara, with a bit of a weird pathing here, drops the Hydra. And that keeps her alive. But boy, oh boy, was that turned by Spain. Spanish team, real nice moves, good damage, nice plays. Netherlands at least with an attempt to bring this back now. But damn son, they are really starting to be in trouble here. Now, we got Thrall in the middle. Imperius is going to try and interrupt him, but Garrosh is also on the way. Zagara is able to retake the Shrine at the bottom. Nano is in some trouble, but with Fawcett moving in and taking Zagara down, they're all of a sudden starting to outnumber the opponent's team. Nano still not making it out of the fight, but he's trying to make the best out of it. The Gust is there, and Nano is still alive. What is happening here? Nano is dropping one ability after another, gets tethered again and gets the kill. Are you shitting me? Nazeebo is murdering them. Nano is insane. They were trying to kill him for so long. Now we have Maiev and Alexstrasza both dead. Imperius gets attacked down here. Fish is slowed down. They're already attacking on the right side. They can go for the objective. Fish is not going to make it either. Eventually he is going to fall. And this is just absolutely brutal for the Netherlands. They're losing ground by the second. The blue team has a 2-level advantage now, and they have level 16 to boot. Things are getting crazy over here. They keep taking damage as well. Thrall is in the middle, gets the Dragonite, so now they can move in again. But this is just nuts. Absolutely nuts. And Nazeebo, of course, with all of the damage that he can dish out with his Toad build on structures, has already used that to relieve the bottom keep of a ton of hit points. It's just insane. If Nazeebo dies, it's a different story. But Nano was just sitting there, he's like, nah, I tried dying, I don't like it, it's stupid. So instead, I am just not going to do that anymore. Keep is going to fall. And are they going to go for core here? They got the Talon advantage. Nazeebo, yeah, he's far from 20, he's far from his stacks, but he can still contribute a lot. Or are they hoping to just simply take a bit more damage on the keep in the middle? Either way, they are sieging up already. And here we go. Yes, I mean, again, Toad build against structures is just insane. And we're not even talking about Vile Infection yet. This is all pre-Vile Infection. The shield is falling, and it's falling quickly. The Dragonite is also going to get destroyed in a moment. Nazeebo gets attacked over here. The Gust keeps him alive. They're chasing him again. They don't learn their lesson. Garrosh helps out. At the same time, the Sanctification. Once again, big plays by Fish, making sure that they're still surviving throughout all of this. But they are retreating before they are going for the core again. They don't want to risk too much here. But oh my god, Spain. Spain today is just off the rocker. These guys, they really want to go to Berlin. You can definitely tell. Oh, they had such a fantastic first play day. And now here on the third, if they can take this with a 3-0, they would be in such a fantastic position to qualify for Berlin. 12 kills to 3, and another fort falls. The fort is gone. Nazeebo still making some moves. I mean, eventually Nazeebo has to focus also on his... I mean, look at this. Bam. Goodbye, structures. There are people that are always bitching about Toad build, and they're seeing somebody go for Toad build. It's like, oh my god, what is this? And basically what they're doing when they say that is they're showing that they have no fucking idea about how to play this game. Depends a little bit on what kind of purpose your Nazeebo has in the composition, and obviously we've seen all kinds of builds. We've seen a full focus on the Spider build, we've seen full Toad builds, we've seen Thing of the Deep comboed off after level 1. But if you are just trying to really get the wave clear going and you want to go for structural damage, then yes, Toads are your friend. Dracula nearly flying to his death here, but now they're turning it once again. The Sanctifications that we're seeing, more or less on point. Always safeguarding at least one hero, most of the time multiple ones, but now Maiev falls, and here comes the Ravenous Spirit. Nano! with the damage, forcing everybody back. He's sitting at 70,000 damage before Vile Infection. 70,000. Garrosh is the only one that has died so far on the blue team side. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He is making sure that everybody else can play the game, that he is the damage sponge for them, and that he can save everyone else. Toad after Toad being unleashed here. Damage. They're all going on the Bridge of Death, though. I'm not liking that too much. But Garrosh is already on his way for another Dragonite. Here we go. They get another objective, and they are half a level away from level 20 right now. Half a level is all they're missing until they have the upgrade. And guess what? Nazeebo is going to hit the threshold. He is going to hit the threshold. 5 more stacks. All he needs. Busy at the bot lane. There it is. And off we go. Vile Infection. If there was a need for a final nail in the coffin, then this would be it. On top of that, we're now getting the World Breaker for Thrall, who's, by the way, sitting top lane, so he's away from the team. Can unleash it from there. But yeah, Nazeebo, he is going to melt structures away. If you thought he did damage with those Toads against structures beforehand, think again, because he is going to absolutely steamroll any keep or core that he gets onto. So once again, couple of Toads connect. Dragonite also unleashing its power. And already 10,000 additional damage by Nazeebo as he comes in again, gets hit by the core though. So that gets shut down. But all the keeps are more or less gone. Nazeebo, again, can just go for the core if he wants to. The catapults are already reducing the shield. This is going to be victory for Spain. They're going to take it. Spain is just looking too strong here. The shields are gone. Nazeebo with the damage. At least the kill against Garrosh. They're fighting tooth and nail, trying to stay in game here. Nano coming in again, hitting his 16. Gets disked on the other hand. Maybe a chance now to finally kill him. Tries to turn it, waits for the cooldowns once again. Mind Talk insanely low, and Mind Talk, is he gonna get hit? Here come the Toads. The core is at 65%. Can they get another kill here? They go for Zagara. Imperius is dead, and now the core is wide open. And just look at this Toad damage. Insanity. Absolute insanity. 100,000 damage by now for Nazeebo. Ever since he got level 20, he added 30,000 damage, and that's only hero damage. They take victory, they take the game. It's another 3-0 win for Spain as they are trying to cement a position within the top 4 of the ranking. GG.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.